It's Minecraft expert. Lag. Was surprised. So I haven't been making YouTube videos so much lately, and that's kind of just because school started up, and I've just got to get my grades in good shape. Sorry, but yeah. Thanks to in-game player commands or whatever they call it, I can do this. But let's just get to it. This is gonna be a redstone tutorial. Basics of redstone. I will be making a complete redstone tutorial on how to make cool stuff with redstone. Because if you can see in the background, just to wait till it spawns, generates. I know quite a bit about redstone because that's gonna be my redstone computer. It's not done yet, but yeah, I just decided to do this. So I built a obstacle course of things you should need to know about redstone. So let's just start off with the basics. So let's start off with the very basic. So redstone looks like this. It's found under the ground, you know, pretty far, and you need to have an iron pickaxe or higher to mine it. So basically you'll mine it. I'm in creative mode, so it won't break like that, but you'll get redstone, and it should come out looking like this. And you can, in redstone, in its easiest way to explain redstone, is it's like a wire. Like as you can see, I can make a wire, and that wire can hold a current, send it, transmit it to something else in Minecraft. And there's several different ways it can hold that current. You can use redstone torch, which offers an unlimited supply of current. As you can see, it is on because the torch is giving it power. The lever gives it an unlimited source of current, power, and in like a noob's language would mean power. If you flip it, it gives it power, unlimited source. If you flip it back, it turns it off. And then there's a button. I don't know if you can see this, so I'll just switch that. Yeah. So there's a button. What that does is if you flip it, it gives a kind of a burst of power, then it stops the power. And that's a button, so yeah. There's pressure plates. There's two different kinds. There's stone, and then there's wood. Now the two differences between these things, if you put an item on wood, it gives power, and if you stand on the wood pressure plate, it gives power too. But if you try to put an item on stone, which I failed, I threw all of them and they don't do anything. You have to actually have something living on the pressure plate to give it power. Now, let's get to some other things. This is an inverter. This is probably one of the most critical things you need to learn about redstone to even make something cool. What it is okay, so this is kind of redstone torches 101. If I put a block down, one single block, any block in Minecraft can hold a single, one current. It can hold a current, and it can transmit that current to one block around it. So, but it only gets the current unless it's applied with the current. In this case, it is not. So, so let's just put a torch up here. So, a torch's default position is on, so that's why it's always on when you place it down, because that's its default position. But believe it or not, a torch can be turned off, and that's using an inverter, which is what I built here. But let's just keep doing what I was doing. So if a block, okay, so let's just, in its easiest definition, if a redstone torch is on a block that is receiving power, the torch will flop default positions and it will turn off. So that's basically what I built here. Torch is on a block that has not received power, so the torch is in default position. If I give the block power, the torch turns off. So yeah, and if I flip it back, it goes back to default position. And that's an inverter. Now, redstone can activate things as pistons, which retract and, extend and retract. You can also play a note block, which I'll be quiet so you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear that one thing, but it's making a sound. You can customize the beat. So yeah, that's basically simple stuff that you need to learn about redstone. Also, redstone can activate TNT. Just gotta do that. It will activate it. Just watch it from a safe distance. It will blow it up. It works the same exact way as it would. That's actually, there used to be, TNT used to be able to detonate just by hitting it, but now you have to use redstone. So yeah, that took me a while to figure out how to detonate TNT until I learned redstone. Okay, so let's get down to the simple things. So another thing you need to learn about redstone is repeaters. So if you're playing in survival mode, repeaters are kind of, they're not super hard to get, but as you can see, I flipped this lever and I'm expecting this piston to extend, but it's not, and I don't know why. Well, that's because if you follow the wire, as you can see, it gets darker and darker and darker as you keep going, compared to how light it was when you first started, and then until you finally have no power whatsoever. That is because redstone can only travel up to 15 blocks, so let's just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then it stops. So the way you could solve this, there's actually two ways. You can do a repeater, which how you do that is you just place it, and it repeats the process of 15, so it can go an extra 15. Or, if you feel too lazy to make a repeater, you can also just do an inverter, which the way you can do this is you can do, that'll turn it off, and then if you have redstone, and then you can do this. You can basically invert it you can double invert it, and that also works as a repeater as well. So here's a little inverter trick I used. What it does is, since this is default position, it will extend this piston, but this torch is giving this block power, turning this torch off, which makes it so it doesn't extend. But when I flip this lever, those two torches will flip-flop. Like that one will go on, and then that one will go off. See what I mean? And then the pistons will flop states too. So if I can get a side angle of this, see, top's extended and now the bottom's extended. Just a simple inverter trick. Make cool things. Here's a repeater tip. So, as you can see here, what this does is it will supply power to these three pistons, even though they're all bunched together, even though they're right by each other. And the way you can do this is with repeaters, because repeaters, they only can send a current, so if I place this down, it could go either north, I could add it to northwest, south, east, like all the four, you know what I'm talking about. You can add it to either side and it'll give that side power, but a repeater's default position is it can only send one way. Like, I don't know if you can see this, but there's like a little arrow pointing one way. That's because it can only receive power from the back of the arrow, and it can only send power to the front of the arrow. It can't send power to side or backwards. So, this will receive power, then send power to this one, then send power to the piston without interfering with this wire, sending power to that piston. Same on the other side. So all three pistons should turn on, perfectly fine. You can also change the state of repeaters by right-clicking to delay the time it takes to get through them. So I'm going to delay all of them, and you'll see the delay. Did you see that delay? And then if I turn it off, there's a delay. Yeah, so that's how that works. Yeah, as you see, if you try to just do this, like, same over there, but just with redstone, it will not work the way that you want it to. So, we're about done for today. I want to show you two basic circuits that also help you make cool things. Now, what we got here is an AND gate. What that does is, the way you can give this, like, it's, hang on. Thank you, in-game commands. Let's just bring these back around here and put a lever there and a lever there. Okay, so basically, since these two torches are on, because this block is not receiving power, which by default this torch will go on, it will give this redstone power, and then it will invert to this torch, turning it off. So this is the output, and these are the inputs. Both inputs have to be turned on at the same time for the output to turn on. So if I turn both inputs on, the output will be on. This basically an AND gate's what an AND gate is for is basically just to make sure that it makes it so you have to click two things. Yeah, so you have to have both levers in. If I only have one, it will not work because one torch will still be on, powering the inverter. Now what we got over here is a little more complex, probably a lot more. I don't know. This is just another circuit I thought I should do. So what this is an RS NOR latch. Basically, RS NOR latch is what it allows you to do. It's kind of like a memory cell. What it does, and if you don't probably have no idea what a memory cell is, but what it is it remembers your last decision on what you made with the buttons. So if I flick this button right there, it flopped it. And if I click this button, it'll flip it again. What this means is that you can actually, it kind of makes it so buttons act as if they're levers, because it will remember the last state you pushed. If I push this, it'll remember that the last state would be right there. Push, and it will remember the last state. That's just two, this is a simple RS NOR latch. Just torches. Yeah, that is an RS NOR latch. Just supply power to each block, and that'll be it. That'll be an RS NOR latch, honestly. But this basically just replaces levers with buttons. It can also be used for other things, but this is its main use. So yeah, I will be making a second video. Just comment to me what you thought was confusing and what you thought I should say, what you think I should say in my next video, and see ya. Bye.